Turn up your volume. Because you're about to listen to The Sick Podcast. Rays Rewind with El Bushman and Drew.
Jansen. That is into center field. Here comes Kiermaier. Phillips has tied the game. Aroldis arena coming around. Throw home. Now he stumbles. But the ball gets away. Tampa Bay wins it. Brett Phillips, Game 4 hero.
The sickest Tampa Bay Rays podcast. It's gonna be sick.
And welcome back in, everybody. It is the Rays Rewind podcast on the Sick Podcast Network. I am the great El Bushman. Joining me as usual is Drew. Make sure to go to our YouTube page at the Sick Podcast Rays Rewind, and also go to our Instagram page at Rays Rewind Podcast. Big show, Drew.
Big show.
We got another big guest. Like, this is. We're like
so nice.
We've
We've done the intro. How many times now? What, 2-3 times?
Hey, three times is a charms in some foreign land. So I'm not going to waste any time. Let's bring him on in, ladies and gentlemen. For over a decade, if a baseball was hit anywhere near center field at Tropicana Field, well, the inning was already over. And we're talking about a man who didn't just play defense; he redefined it. 4-time Gold Glove winner and a 2015 Platinum Glove Award winner. Game-saving catches, highlight reels that still don't make sense. The heartbeat of Rays baseball. The captain of center field. The guy who made impossible plays look routine night after night. A franchise icon. Fan favorites. StatCast's greatest defensive center fielders of his generation. The one, the only, Kevin Kiermaier. What's up, man?
How we doing? Wow, what an
Yes.
intro. What an honor for that. My goodness. I'm not
You're welcome.
worthy.
Well, we had Brett Phillips on last week, and he was like, dude, that's epic, bro. So
Yeah.
Well, the intro is the World Series hit. And
Yeah.
he was like, did y'all put that in for me? And we are like, no. It's just been the intro for, however long we've been doing this. So,
Yeah. That's awesome. What a moment that was.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for joining us, Kevin. We sure appreciate you coming on the show and talking with us. Spring training's in full effect with the Rays. I know you were just down there maybe a couple weeks ago. First question to you: how did it feel walking into spring training camp, not a player this time, not going in as a coach and consultant? How was that?
Yeah. I mean, I did a spring training not being a player last year. It wasn't with the Rays. That was different in its own self. But going back to Port Charlotte, first time since 2022, really. I mean, that was my last year at the Rays, and going back there and being around everything again, it was so nostalgic for me, and it was amazing. And I was looking forward to it once the Rays agreed to have me on, or for the week that I was there. And I said, you know what, I love this organization so much. Obviously, I have and always will forever. But for me, after being away for a few years, it's like, definitely one of those things you don't realize how much you miss something until you're not there. And I love my time with Toronto and LA, and I'm so glad I got to experience other things, but no one loves Rays baseball more than me, and there's no way to quantify that, but I love it, and I was so happy to be back down there and giving back to the team who gave me the world and so many opportunities. So amazing, and I'm excited to be available for them all year, and hopefully just get that relationship going with them again and let them know, hey, like, I'm a Ray, I can do things with other people, but let's just clear the air. Like, this is the organization that means the most to me, and this is what I will belong to forever, whether I'm employed by them or not. So I was thrilled to be back there, and it felt good just to get them juices flowing again, and wearing some Rays stuff again.
So you were down there specifically working with the outfielders like Chandler Simpson, Jacob Melton, that group. Kind of give us your impression of this new group of outfielders coming in for the team for 2026.
Yeah, it was mainly like prioritized with Chandler. And it was still like right before camp started. So nothing was official. They had guys down there and doing stuff, but Chandler was there for just to get like a little pre-stuff going, and since I was there, like, hey, we're gonna have a couple like an hour and a half session blocked off Chandler and KK every day in the mornings, and then I would do stuff with the minor league guys in the afternoon. But I got to be around enough guys to, get a look at them. Melton, not a whole lot, but just working with Chandler and just trying to tell him everything that I've learned over the years, and just try to, a lot of times, like, you can sit here and do all the drills and all the on-field work, but a lot of times, like, the combos that you can have, you never know what's going to stick with a guy, or you might say, hey, when I did this play, like, this is what I thought and this is how I did it, and certain things like that click for guys. And that's the beauty of conversation when you're sitting here trying to work on your craft, and once again, you never know what someone might say. So he's awesome to work with. I mean, so motivated, and he listened to everything I had to say. And just watching him explode to the ball, I mean, it's like, man, he is a freak. I've watched him and in person what his speed can do, and it's just like, hey, how can I sit here and unlock him in just a small little wave, so his athleticism and speed can play on the defensive side of the game the way it does offensively. But amazing guy. I was a big fan of him before, and after the way he treated me and listened to everything I said and did everything I said the way I asked, nothing but respect for him, and I expect him to have a huge year, and really excited to see his progress. And the other guys too, once again, it was like Chandler, and then getting eyes on, or just small little things here or there, but the work is great. Them guys can play. And I said, hey, the Rays are built off pitching and defense, and you got enough guys who can hit, but it's like, man, let's handle our business. Come out here and you play defense. Great things can happen. You can play this game a long time, and I'm a perfect example of that.
Yeah. So who's faster, you or Chandler? At your peak, what do you think? You think you could take him?
Chandler's got me. Chandler's got me. I will say, back in the day, I never thought I got enough love for, like, I feel like I would hit the fastest triples every year, and they would have other guys like Buxton and Billy Hamilton, all these guys with their times, and I'd sit here and time myself, and I'm like, man, I'm getting there faster. But me not being like the most popular guy, I'm like, I feel like I'm getting overshadowed and by other guys, other players. But at the time though, I'm like, hey, that's the Rays. Like, we truly, I mean, it took years for us to finally get like love and recognition, like 2019 and on from there. But Chandler, he's got me, man. He's so fast, and he's got to weigh like a buck. I don't want to take anything away from him. I'm going to say $165 at the max, and I always played at 205 to 215. So there's, like, once again, I could pick him up and put him down, but once I got going, I would put myself up with anyone. But his explosiveness right off the get go, and like just the way he carries it, it's incredible.
I'm almost just rooting for an infield hit with him. Like, I just want him to slap it, like, between the pitcher and third base, just so I can watch and just marvel at it.
It's electric, man. It's exciting. That's a luxury to have, and he works his butt off to have that speed. I mean, God gifted, but you gotta sprint and do all these little things to stay sharp in that area. And I was watching how he gets loose and gets his legs and all that going, and he has the ability where he could probably wake up out of bed and sprint. There's a saying like, hey, you ever see a cheetah stretch? No, cheetahs just go. But Chandler, the way he like I said, it's incredible, and it's a beautiful thing. So he's gonna make a lot of guys unhappy over the years with getting some cheap hits because of his speed. But hey, do it while you can and play your game.
Yeah. What intrigues me a lot about him, and even like Jacob Melton and really like everybody outside of, I guess, DeLuca and Cedric Mullins, who's playing the Trop a bunch, a lot of these guys that they're going to be relying on in the outfield haven't played in the Trop in game setting, right? I mean, Jake Fraley, a few games, I looked him up, but even though Chandler was on the team for a good portion of last year, so they were at Steinbrenner. I'm curious, like, okay, you're obviously, anyone who knows Trop outfield defense, it's you, right? You're the top at that. What are you telling Chandler? It's probably a little different for him given his speed, but like generally, what are you telling a player that's trying to adjust to the Trop? Because all we've heard about it as fans, like, oh, it's so hard. And I'm not disagreeing with that, but I've never heard it directly from someone who's experienced it like you.
Yeah.
What would you be telling? Like, what are like the three things that they're
the way I
think about?
The way I say it to guys, it's just, hey, you gotta trust your work. You gotta trust what we do. So with that being said, I'm like, hey, I know the roof is a little different now, but when I was there, it was a dirty white ball and a dirty white roof. And I'm like, that roof was there since the 90s and dust accumulated. So it was white, but it was a shade that sometimes you just cannot see that ball. And I've seen like renderings of or pictures of the one that'll be up for this year, and it looks like some are like look different colors. And
yeah, it looks like a circus tent right now, but they're saying the panels that are like the beige kind of dirty color, they're gonna go white.
Yeah, so, with the sun.
So with the sun and stuff, yeah.
Yep. So I'm telling these guys, I'm like, hey, this is why we work out here on these backfields in spring training, because we can simulate, like we can't simulate a white roof over us, but when a ball is hit over our head, like trusting your route. Do you know where that ball is going? Are you in the right line with it? Like little things like that, where it's like, hey, you sit here and have people tell you these things over and over. And it's like, yeah, work on your route and your reads and taking your eye off the ball. But these are the things that you need to do. And I always say the Trop made me a way better outfielder. Like it really did. Like there was pros and cons to it, because I sit here like the turf, it's never going to give you any bad hops or anything like that. You're not going to deal with wind, but you got to deal with the roof. And that's just the thing in itself. You can't prepare for that. It never got easier. All the years I was there, I knew what to expect, but there were still them balls hit depending on what time of the day or whatever, where it would just, you completely lose it. And it happens to everyone. As much as it drives you crazy or whatever, it's just like, hey,
you got to deal with the rings too, man. The rings.
Someone said to me, my rookie year, they're like, hey, there's a game affected by this roof, and pretty much every night, like you saw it, and everyone's like, a game, like whether it was us, and it helped us a lot more than it hurt us compared to the opposition. So there is like somewhat of an advantage, but once again, not trying to get off track, going back to like what I tell these guys, it's like you sit here and you prepare the right way. And as long as you're going the right direction and you're like, listen to your instincts, then the play is going to take you to where you need to be. And the more experience and reps you get, then hopefully you're on track to where you need to be. But the Trop is going to test you over and over again. It's not going to be easy, but there's no warning track. You said, like the way the ball blends in, and then when I go on the road, I'd be sitting here like, man, I can see this white ball in this dark sky or whatever. And then certain guys like sitting here saying like, man, I need a warning track to know where the wall's at. I'm like, hey, you don't need one, but if we can develop like this internal clock and having the ability to take our eyes off the ball, then we can sit here and like be under control, whether we have to jump into the wall or rob a homer. Or whatever. There's so many things that go into it. But at the end of the day, it's not going to be easy by any means, but if you sit here and get your work in out there and train your eyes and the depth perception with how you're getting the reads and seeing how it looks with the roof, it'll be nothing the guys can't handle. So as long as you go out there and, like I said, like be a professional in the preparation is us going out there and getting reps, shagging batting practice before that first game of the season. Because a lot of times in years past, they wouldn't have us go up there, run around on turf before we started. And we always would start, my career, we started at the Trop almost every year. I know we opened up in Miami one year.
Yeah.
But usually it was like the last 2 or 3 days of spring training, they would have us go up there and now I think they're going on the road to start the season, and then they'll get a day, they'll come back home, probably have an off day where they're going to say, hey, it's optional, but we want you guys to be there, especially the outfitters. So you guys, before like the first game of the season, you guys aren't just shagging BP out there for 15 minutes before the game. You want to know what to expect, when the regular season is here and games matter the most, obviously. So it'll be interesting how they navigate with that. But as long as, once again, I get the reps in and sit here and like train your eyes the best you can, then it's very doable.
Did the Rays did they call you, or did you kind of reach out to them going, hey, I might be interested in coming in and helping the young guys out? Because you're coming off of 10 plus years experience as a player. Are you kind of preparing this as a coach? Are you watching film on some of the guys? Obviously you played with Chandler, so you kind of know what his abilities are. Are you kind of preparing this beforehand, or how did that come about with the Rays?
Yeah, I definitely was going to reach out to them. I reached out to a couple other teams that I wanted to really do stuff with, and definitely where I said, hey, this is what I'm doing, and I would love to work with your guys. I really think you guys could use me for the players and also the coaches as well, where it's like, man, why would you not want to listen to someone who did it like me? And that's the part where I'm like, look, I just want to help. Like, I want to help as many people as I can, whether it's the Rays or whatnot. But the Rays were definitely like the forefront of this, where I wanted to do stuff with them last year. It didn't quite work out, which is okay. But, you kind of got to see things from a different lens when you're not a player. And there's a lot of things that fall into place. And I knew that I'd have an opportunity again to work with these guys, and now is the time. So with this whole outfield consultant LLC thing I'm doing it just because I want to be able to have the freedom to work with whoever. I did stuff with the Blue Jays last year, and I loved it so much. And as the season went on, I'm like, had other people reaching out to me, or I'd go to minor league teams and I'd have guys on the other teams reaching out to me, like saying, hey, what would you do if in this situation? I'm like, well, I got Blue Jay stuff on right now, and you got like Akron Rubber Duck stuff on. I can't be coaching you up if I got to stay loyal to my team. So long story short, this is why I did it. Just to have the freedom to help with as many people as I can who just want to be better defenders. And with me, it's just outfield defense. Tell these teams like, hey, I'm not going to sit around here, go in the batting cage, tell guys what to do. But when it comes to outfield defense and routine and just how to do these things, you'd be amazed with like what can happen if we train and prepare properly. And I know that's something I did throughout my whole career, just like on-field stuff. I'm not even talking about weight room or just how we throw every day, how we shag batting practice, how we do drill work, these things that got overshadowed all these years. And I'm just sitting here like, man, if I ever have the authority or the keys or the reins to sit here and tell people, hey, like, I know you guys think this is the way, but this is the way. Like, this is the way we have to do these things if you guys want to maximize your potential. So here I am seeing where it's going to go, but the Rays were the first team to lock me in. And hopefully I can just have one of those things where it's like, hey, if you guys want me to go to the minor leagues, then, take care of me, make it make sense, get the flight, the hotels and all that. But I still live in Tampa. Trop is 25 minutes away from me. I hope I have the freedom and the luxury to drive over there whenever I want, or if Cash or Neander, someone calls me, hey, we'd love for you to come in this series and do whatever. As long as I'm around and like just feel occupied with something in baseball, I'm a happy man. So yeah, that's all I need.
Well, last year the Rays outfield was one of the worst in baseball. So obviously not bringing you in was a huge we should have known from the get-go. They didn't bring you in last year, so the outfield was they didn't. This year it's going to be a whole different story now that you've been in the camp with them. So with this year's team, if you look at like any projection, any national baseball writer prediction for the AL East, the Rays are going to be last. They always kind of cover their butt by saying, oh, you never know with them. Like they're always the Rays. They always find a way, but when it comes down to it, they're always going to be picked last in this division. And it's less about them, I feel like, and more about just, the perceived strength of the rest of the division.
Yeah.
With this year's team being in that position, that's a position, not that you guys were projected to be last. I can't quite remember every season, but you guys were never projected really, even when you went to the playoffs and World Series year and division title, it wasn't like you guys were expected to be at that level.
Yeah.
So I'm curious, like from your experience being in a clubhouse where maybe expectations outside of the clubhouse are lower, does all that kind of talk get into the clubhouse before the season? Or if it does, like what's the mindset, for guys that are going to be on this year's team that are probably going to be hearing that, or at least, I'm sure coming across stuff like that going into 2026?
Yeah. I mean, you hear stuff like that. I can't speak for everyone on what they think of it, but I remember I was always like the vocal guy for us, and I would just always try to set the precedent, like right before first day of spring training, and once again right before the season. It's like, hey, fellas, I don't care. Like, people can project what they want. No one watches us. No one watched us what we did all off season. No one probably even watched us what we did in spring. How do they know? They don't. This is why we show up, and this is why we play 162. It's up to us. We control all this. People can say what, it's just the way the media and people are always going to have their stories, but who are we going to be? It's us. It's this people in the room who are going to dictate that. And everyone was always on the same page with that. And it always, like, for me coming up with the Rays and me not knowing any better, like, I just felt like we were always in the weeds waiting every year because, like, we weren't projected to beat the Yankees or Red Sox or Blue Jays or Orioles, all these big market teams every year. But we're sitting here like, hey, we can beat anyone. We know that we don't have a whole lot of household names, that we are good. And the opposition, they know that we're good. And they know they don't want to play us. They don't want to see us. And so that's just kind of the things that come with the Rays. You're never going to get enough love until further notice. And we're still in them stages. But even like a couple of years ago when they went off to 13 or 14-0 start, like no one in the media or even some of the players might not have thought they were capable of doing that. That was a crazy start to a season, but hey, this is why you never know, like momentum and the way, like our attitudes, our demeanor when we show up, people would be amazed with like how when you got good vibes going and just how great things can be, and it can be vice versa as well. So that's the part where projections, even like player projections, I would see stuff like, oh, you're going to do this or that. I'm like, man, I made all these adjustments this year. Like, no, you're just going off of what I've done, which I get. It's like law of averages and all that. But I think that stuff is garbage with how people get so like in tune with that stuff. I'm like, man, this is the way it's going to be just because someone's projecting it. And it's like, man, what do they know? They don't freaking know all the ups and downs and trials and tribulations that any given game or in like a 162 game stretch. Like you never know, and that's the beauty of the game, and that's the beauty of the AL East, especially because you got the big dogs that are going to be there every year competing, spending crazy money, and then you have a team like the Rays where it's like, yeah, you can never count them out. They're never going to have the high payroll teams or anything like that. For the time being, you never know. When they move to Tampa, they might start breaking guys off a little bit more. But pitching, defense, they always they just find a way to make it work year in, year out. And it's going to be very interesting. But I would say this is like I don't know. I feel like any team this year could win it. And who knows, like even a team like Baltimore last year, who would have thunk that they were as bad as what they were? That's, once again, that's the beauty of baseball. You never know. And that's why we got to show up and play. And that's what we love.
Yeah. I'm glad that you brought up teams spending big. I wanted to ask you, obviously we've got the CBA coming up. They're threatening a lockout in 2027. Are you, now that you're away from the game, would you be in favor of having a cap, or would you say no?
Honestly, I'm not even, I don't understand that stuff at all. I always, even like when I'm NBA salary cap and like, I've sit here and I've tried learning stuff. I am awful at processing information. I don't even know what it means to be like, I know, but I hear things like, okay, it would help the superstars but it would like hurt the middlemen. Like I've heard so many things over the years. I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to go out there and play and not worry about this stuff. And I probably should have an idea about that. And I've heard players say, hey, like, no, we are totally against this. I've heard stories of guys chewing some people out when that stuff gets brought up. And that's the part where I'm like, all right, well, why are they chewing him out though? But I'm just being honest though, man. That's me. And that's just kind of the way I've always been. But I don't know. I know that they said it's a real thing where next year, who knows? I used to be I was never like in the subcommittee or like the people on every call, but I would get word of what was going on now. I'm so far removed from that, so I don't even know, but hopefully they can figure something out where baseball goes on, because you don't even want to deal with stuff that could come with it. But this is the part where you got to remind people like, hey, as much as a beautiful game it is for us to play and so many people to watch, you'd be amazed how the business side of things, it's like, it is a business, number one, first and foremost. And if you think Anything other than that, you're crazy. I promise. And I was around long enough to like realize that, and still like the talks that are going on nowadays. It's like, all right. I mean, it's not.
It's all the Dodgers'
It's
fault.
not
Anyways.
leaving the business.
It's all the Dodgers' fault anyway. So don't worry about it.
Yeah, they've cracked the code, man. They've cracked the code, and they've got a system.
Yeah. I if it's okay, I'd love to go down memory lane a little bit with the Rays career and a little Rays nostalgia. So, by my count, I think you were a 31st round pick in forget the year. Remind me of the
2010.
year. 2010. All right. So I was a sophomore in college, I believe. So 2010.
God, I already graduated, dude. Oh,
yeah.
Man,
well, you're old. I didn't want to.
Yeah,
I didn't want to. That's what I was actually getting at. I just wanted to point out that Evan was.
That I'm old. Okay. Awesome. Yeah. Thank you.
Appreciate so Kevin and I are mid 30s. You know, we're youngin. No, 31st round pick. They don't even go that far anymore. I think it's 20 rounds. So you were never supposed to make it to the majors at a 31st round pick by that logic, right? And I don't think there's a better organization that you could have gone to than the Rays because of that underdog mentality, that kind of chip on your shoulder. We talked about it a little bit, like always picked last, or always thought of lesser than, you know, it's a cute organization. They have their success here and there, but they're never thought of above these other teams. First of all, how important was that kind of chip on your shoulder mentality? And I mean, and then just kind of having that as being a part of the Rays organization, as you know, for the majority of your career, like just that fit of, you know, I feel like the stars kind of aligned there for you.
They did.
Yeah.
And I knew like they were the first team to ever scout me. The scout who drafted me, Tom Kustin, shout out to him. He changed my life. One random night in December 2008 changed my life, and then I wanted to be a pro baseball player. And before that, I just wanted to go D1 and prove to myself that I could play D1 college baseball. But anyways, get drafted, and the draft, I mean, pissed me off because I was told I was going to be 8th to 15th round. So I had a draft party the second day. Had all my buddies over. We're all having a great time. They're like drinking, playing wiffle ball, waiting for me to get drafted. I have my phone on me the whole time, and it never rings. And everyone goes home the next morning, and I'm like, man, I'm about to go to freaking Purdue, which was my dream school.
So you love Purdue.
I do. I love Purdue.
Yeah.
At that point, I wanted to play, though. I was like, man, what in the world happened? And then sure enough, the last day of the draft, rounds 31 through 50, my name gets called. And I was excited, but I was really mad at the same time. And then it got to the point where I'm like, all right, I know they're going to have to like give me a signing bonus. And like later that day, we end up agreeing on something. I said, look, I'm the youngest I'll ever be. I'm ready to play right now. I'm ready to go. So I always had that chip on my shoulder. Even when I showed up right away, I saw the guys who we drafted and gave $1 million to and 800,000. I'm sitting here like, man, I'm better than these guys, and I'm going to show everybody that I'm not your typical 31st rounder. But I just had like a fuel or a fire in me that I never had before, and I was just obsessed with seeing how good I could get at baseball. So that's why I say, like now, ever since I've been in retirement, I said I'm proud of a younger me because I know how hungry I was. And once again, like 0 through 18 years, I never had any of that. And then that Tom Kustin, Tampa Bay Rays scout, handed me that card, and it was a life-changing moment. I'm telling you, it was like it's like something from a movie, and it was just gave me a surge of motivation like I've never had ever in my life. And then I never had a plan B where I'm like, I'm making it. I don't care. I will do whatever it takes. And then the second half of that story for you, like, yes, the Rays were the perfect team to draft me. Defense, like just the way I played the game, like it's like a Rays player. And even when I was done, or 2022, after I had my surgery, and Eric Neander told me, he's like, hey, we're not going to pick up the option. You're going to be a free agent. I'm like, yeah. And he's like, you know what? No team ever would have valued you the way we did. And he was right. I believed him. I'm like, yeah, you're right. He's like, I promise, like the contract, everything. He's like, it helped both parties out. You did amazing. You were everything we ever wanted you to be, and then some. So that made me feel real good about that. But it was so true. I'm like, man, I could sit here like Aaron Judge gets booed at Yankee Stadium when he struggles. I'm like, I was such an inconsistent player. I cared more than anyone out in the field, but sometimes the fans don't care how much you care about what you're doing. If you stink, they're going to let you hear about it. And like, I never got booed, or the Rays fans always appreciated me for what I did. And I appreciate that. I was always just like, I'm not the best player on the field, but I'm going to care more than anyone. I'm going to play harder than anyone. And, I'm really good at center field defense. I think you want me to be out there.
Yeah.
But it allowed me to play a career, and, 10 starts in a row in the AL East. I'm very proud of that. 8 with the Rays, 2 with the Blue Jays, but best division in baseball for so many years, and 8 of them with the Rays. It's like, man, I don't know if I could have did that with any other team, but for me, it's like everything happens for a reason. I was meant to be a Ray, and I'm so glad it worked out the way it did.
Dude, stop being so humble, man. You're like, dude, you're like, you played center field like Griffey back in the day. That's why I think a lot of people like just flock towards you, was the way you played center field. You're like Ken Griffey Jr. type player out in the outfield, man, just throwing your body everywhere, getting the ball. And I think that's why, everybody. I mean, come on, stop being so humble, man. Come on, stop it.
No, I'm just saying I knew what I had to do. I had to play elite defense. I had to have an elite speed, elite arm every day.
The margin for error for you was probably a lot smaller.
Yeah.
Because of the draft position, and it wasn't.
And my defense allowed me a lot more slack in the offensive side of things, where Cash and all these pitchers, so many times where I always told people, I'm like, don't take away anything from what I can do offensively. I had my moments, and it was definitely always a battle, but my pitchers always wanted me out there. There was a game in San Diego, like in the 2020 series, game 7 of the Astros. I got hit by 99 in game 3, and I didn't play games 4, 5, and 6, and we lost all 3 of them games. The Astros came back, and I couldn't even swing game 7, and Cash was like, I don't care. You're playing. We want you out there. We have confidence when you're out there. And I was like, hell yeah, let's go. Like I wanted to play too. I was just like, man, I can't do a whole lot, but little things like that. It was just like, man, like they meant that. They love when I'm out there, and it gives a lot of people a sense of confidence. And so yeah, once again, I knew what I had to do. I had to play great defense, and whatever I had to do to play, as long as I did. And I was couple weeks short of 11 years in the major leagues, so everything worked out all right.
That's a good segue. Speaking of the 2020 year, which was special and also super weird because of COVID, what was that experience like for you? Like, I mean, it was a shortened season. You guys make it to the World Series. Like, kind of talk us through like that whole. Did you guys even think you guys were going to play at all, or no?
Yeah, I thought we were going to play, and then once it became like 60 games, it was definitely weird, but once we started playing, I remember saying like, hey, let's be the team with the least amount of excuses, fellas. Like, this counts. It counts to me. I hope it counts to you guys, because it does. And there was just a lot of people just being negative and just saying so many things throughout the whole year. And I'm like, we're not getting caught up in that. We are going to have fun, and we are going to dominate. We're going to win games. And we were 40-20, won the division that year, really good. One of my most favorite years ever, honestly. The regular season, but the playoffs out in San Diego versus the Yankees and Astros in the World Series, I mean, that was the most fun, some of the most fun I've ever had playing baseball. And memories that you can never take away from me. Mike Brosseau's homer, best moment of my career. Best moment of my career, not even my moment. It was like the after party after that, one of the best nights of my life, just celebrating everyone with the Rays in this bubble in this big basement room of this hotel that it was amazing. And then going 7 games with the Astros, and then going to the World Series, and like accomplishing and being one of the last 2 teams standing when no one, once again, we're the Rays, no one expects us to do anything, but you sit here and have like the 26 guys in the same room with the same mindset and the same goal, the same like attitude to work every day. Like it was so much fun, and it was crazy for so many people, and unfortunate in so many ways, rightfully so. But man, we made the best of it. And once again, the playoff run though, it was like true love of the game. We had no fans out there, but it was like some of the most exciting and exhilarating moments you could ever have, even with that. I mean, once again, love of the game. And that was one of my, you found out who the gamers were that year. And it was amazing. I learned so much about so many teammates that I already played with and guys who I can look back on now and be like, man, I go to battle with you 7 days a week. And a lot of those guys come from that COVID season in 2020. Amazing, man.
Yeah. That Mike Brosseau homer.
That was a big middle finger to Chapman, man. Was like,
yeah, it was.
Dude, love that,
I
man.
saw it happen. So, Kevin, to give you a sense of like, and I'm probably weird when it comes to Rays fans. I didn't sit the entire playoffs. Like we had our kids were young, so they were asleep. So I'm like standing in front of the TV, just nervous as anything. But I had a moment. I was like, I saw Mike Brosseau hitting this homer off of Aroldis Chapman, and when it happened, I couldn't believe it. I just lost it, and my wife had it all on video.
Amazing,
and yeah, and I just can't imagine what that was like on the field, just with everything that happened at the end of the season. Because I can't remember how much time in between there was between that series in New York where that happened. Because he had already homered twice the next day in Yankee Stadium.
Yep.
And
I think it was like a 2 or 3 week period.
Yeah.
Two maybe.
That's why there was like so much bad blood going into that series. Is because of that.
And
we hated the Yankees. Hated us. We hated them forever.
Yeah, man,
that's
good stuff. Oh, it was great. One of the things I always appreciate about you, you mentioned it was inconsistent offensively, and like, the numbers are the numbers, but I always felt like in the biggest moments in the playoffs, you always came through with a big hit, whether it was 2019, which I was there for, and your homer against Greinke, which was awesome.
Amazing.
So cool. I mean, it was like literally the air. Evan, were you at that game by chance? It was like the game 3, because the the ALDS against the Astros.
Yes, I was there as media that day. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, because it was like we got shut down first 2 games because they had Cole and Verlander, which is just in their prime. Like, it's just tough. And we like couldn't scratch any runs across. And when Kevin hit the 3-run homer, it was like, oh my gosh, we can do it. Like, and it was literally the loudest I've ever heard.
Yeah.
The Trop.
That's what a lot of people told me, and I'm very happy that I'm at least one of them moments. But I thought the same thing, and I still look back at the video on that. I'm like, man, I remember it barely, but I mean, you kind of like black out when those things happen. But I was just pumped for us to get a lead and get some momentum in that series in front of our home crowd. And but yeah, I love
2020.
I didn't have the sexiest numbers offensively, but I promise, like, I always wanted to be up in that big moment. I wanted a chance to have the game to fall on my shoulders, or I wanted to come up big for my teammates. And that's what you want. You want someone, hey, you don't have to get the job done every time, but you want someone that's just like, okay, I know he wants this opportunity to want that. And those are the things where I always like challenge myself with, be like, how bad do you want it? What are you about in the biggest situations? Can you sit here and have like a slow heartbeat? Are you built for this moment? And that was the beauty of like playing baseball for as long as I did, because you just learn so many of these things that life just throws at you, and it's just like, hey, I gotta sit here and figure a way to calm myself down and get a job done. So that's what I miss the most, man. Even sitting here just thinking about these moments, man, I miss it. Yeah.
Was there any of them that you were kind of like, where you were like, did I actually just do that on field? Was there any of them like that where you just like, okay, I just did that. I don't know how I did that, but I just did it.
Yeah, a lot of I guess a lot of plays that I made in 2015 when I won my Platinum Glove, where I was starting to get a lot of recognition. I was like, wow, this is really cool. Where I just felt like my life was really coming together, and like just getting all this exposure and people talking about me for the first time in my whole life was really cool. I hit a multi-homer game off CC Sabathia in 2016. I knew he was going to be in the Hall of Fame at some point, and I remember just round the bases at Yankee Stadium being like, man, I just took a Hall of Famer deep twice. And I mean, there were so many things in baseball that make you pinch yourself. But what I always tell young guys now coming up, I'm like, I swear, I'm like, you sit here and you get addicted to seeing like how you can surprise yourself or what you can accomplish. And it's like, okay, I've done this. I won a gold and platinum glove. What else can I do? I never thought that'd be possible, but what more can I do? And whatever keeps fueling you as a player or keeps you going, like that's dangerous when you're sitting here never content and you just always want more. And that's the way I always was. And when I watch the best players, like these guys are never content. They always want more. But those are a couple moments where I'm like, boy, this is really cool. And this doesn't even feel like my life right now, but you sit here and do it long enough where it's just like, look, this is what I prepare for. And this is what I do in a way. And I love what I do and I do what I love.
Well, and that's not the only, I believe, Clayton Kershaw, you took deep in the World Series too.
Yeah, that was definitely.
Did you give him? I mean, he's a future Hall of Famer, lefty on lefty too for you. Which, the Rays weren't always like going to give you those at bats. So for you to go deep against a Hall of Fame lefty in the World Series, that had to feel good. And I got to imagine when you're teammates with him, you got to remind him like, hey, you got nothing on me, Kershaw.
Yeah, I did. We talked about it one time. I don't remember how it got brought up, but he's fiery, man. I wasn't going to sit here and be that guy. He definitely would have put me in my place, but it kind of came up organically and we had fun with it. And he's the man though. He's amazing, but I'll definitely take that moment to my grave forever. And I remember thinking, I'm like, man, my second World Series at bat, I just took Kershaw deep. And I was always a guy like a lot of us too. Like when I got confident, like, watch out. Don't let me get confident or else I'm going to really start doing some damage. And I always tried tricking myself with confidence each and every day. But any times I did stuff like that, you just sit here and feel really good about yourself. And you're like, I don't care who's on the mound or whatever. I'm in the right headspace right now, and I'm going to do some damage.
I want to transition to 2021 playoffs real quick. It's like the most intriguing playoffs for the Rays to me. And I know it didn't end well. I have a couple things I want to say about this.
Yep.
First of all,
I already know. I know one of them.
No. First of all, I don't.
So you're bringing up bad memories, man.
No. I don't think you. I don't think you do. So, one of your defensive highlights for you, like I think the one that gets probably played the most. You had a lot of diving catches. Is the homer you robbed off of or the Manny Machado in Baltimore? That was like. They show Mike Trout's. Yours, you got way more extended. Yeah. I don't want to get into that debate, but yours was better. But I think your most underrated defensive play of your entire career, and I would bet this against anything, is the throw you made in Game 4. I have never been more shocked by a throw, because I even went back. I found the game online because I found the full game, and I went back and watched it as we were kind of preparing for this interview, because we're talking Evan. I don't know if you probably don't. I don't know if you remember this throw now, because it never gets brought up because
I do remember the throw.
Because the Rays lost. It's just like it kind of gets lost in the shuffle. It's bottom of the 8th. There's one out. There's one out in the bottom of the 8th. Verdugo's on second, and this man throws it basically from the warning track. I mean, right center, which is deep right center in Fenway. And just the most unbelievable throw. I just want to call that out.
That was a good one. That fired me up.
Probably my favorite defensive play of your career was that throw.
Randy was trying to call me off right there, and I'd just be like, Randy, let me throw, please.
Yeah.
Let me
Yandy with the good tag. Like it just, and then there was the replay of like the drama. Oh man, it's
I thought
great.
You were going to bring up how in the 13th inning, I hit a ball.
No. I don't want to talk about that. Renfroe.
Yes, Renfroe. No. And I want that rule to be changed. I tried lobbying for that. I'm like, that is messed up.
And then then there was like the exact same ball the next night. I think because when I was watching, there was an inning where we stormed back. It was like 5-2 or 5-3, and Zunino led off with a double. You had a double, and then Randy had a double. And it was like it tied the game, and there was no outs.
Yep.
But like there was a ball that was the exact same ball that you hit the night before that got kicked over the wall, which, I don't know if that was an accident, but
that was,
that was, and you would have scored. I mean, that's actually not what I was going to bring up at all. But now that I'm in that headspace, I'm just. But okay, here's my other question about 21. And I just am curious, like the mindset of players versus fans. Obviously, a lot, there's fans just living and dying with every pitch in the playoffs. I was there for game 1 and game 2. Game 1 was a blast. Game 2 was a blast up till a certain point. When Jordan Luplow hits a grand slam off Chris Sale, because the Red Sox got up 1, I think, and then Luplow hits a grand slam, like this guy we just pulled out of nowhere.
Yep.
I was at that game
playing a position that he doesn't play, and he just took Chris Sale, who's a future Hall of Famer. We're talking about future Hall of Fame lefties. He takes him deep about 20 feet away from me.
Yeah, grand slam.
Grand slam. So we're up 5-1 in the first inning. I'm sitting there. I told my father-in-law I was at the game with, I said, we're going to win the World Series this year. Like, it's going to happen, because we came off of 2020. We were a little short, and this is it. Like, we're doing it. We got this young talent. We got the young pitching. I mean, we're crushing them all. We got Nelson Cruz. We made a deal at the deadline. Like, this is it. And then it just kind of fell apart. I'm curious, like, in a moment like that, are you thinking to yourself, holy crap, like, we're gonna freaking do this. Like, this is it. Like, I can see this happening.
Yeah, at that point, I really wanted to win game 2 and take a 2-0 lead going into Boston. But I remember, that's what I wanted to think. And I remember, we were up 5-1. It was Bogarts. Someone hit a homer to make it 5-2. I think it was Bogarts.
Mm-hmm.
And then Devers might have did something later. And I remember being like, I
remember
being in center field being like, man, that was such a clutch homer by him. Like, anytime you get momentum back for your team, when you get punched in the mouth, like, it's great to just piece it little by little. And then I think they ended up scoring like 13 that game. We lost by a good margin, but I remember some of them at bats while we were still up early, where I was like, man, looking back, like, those are the at bats that get teams back into it. And that hurt. Then getting walked off twice in a row in Boston, it was just like, man, no one envisioned this. That was the year we won 100 games as well. We were so good, but playoffs, it's like, it's such a small sample size, and we knew we were playing a really good Boston team. But that one hurt, man. It hurt a lot, and that was a very somber clubhouse after the game. After like all the success we had in the season, and like baseball can be so cruel to you, and for it just to end just like that. I mean, that was gut wrenching.
Yeah.
Kevin, they're going to be retiring Evan Longoria this year. They're going to give him a nice retirement ceremony, unlike what they did last year at Steinbrenner, which was kind of weird.
Yeah.
Also, is too as well. And I know you played with him for a little bit on the Rays. Did he? How impactful was he on your career? Like, after he was, done with the Rays, he was traded over to San Francisco. How much of an impact did he make on you when you were on the team with him?
Huge impact. He was amazing to me. Treated me great. He was hard on me at times, but like good fun. He was always the guy to always take me under his wing. And speaking of Longo, I got to tell you a story now, because I mean, one of the coolest things and this is like, when I think of him, I think of this. It was my rookie year, 2014. I got called up in Anaheim. It was the second time I was called up, and I was supposed to go up for 3 days because Desmond Jennings went on the bereavement list, I believe, and he wasn't there. And they're like, hey, you're going to be up here and you're going to go right back. In Anaheim that weekend, I got my first hit, my first homer, and I made number one play on Sports Center, and I made a great play. So the team was struggling at that point, still early in the season, and Longo got word that I was getting sent down Sunday after the game, going back to Tampa after. And we had like an off day, and then playing the A's at the Trop that next week. But Longo heard we're optioning Kiermaier. He's like, no, we're not. He went in and talked to Joe Madden and Andrew Friedman or whoever, and was like, hey, I hear we're optioning Kiermaier. And he's like, no, we're not. He's like, we need him. He's like, he gave us a spark all weekend. We suck right now. You guys can't option him. Like, option him later this week, but you can't do it right now. It's a bad look for a team who's struggling right now. We can't get rid of our good players from this past weekend. And the trainer came up to me, Paul Harker, and he like about teared up. And he's a guy I'm real close with. He was like, hey, I've never seen this happen, but Longo just stuck his neck out for you. did this and that. I'm sitting here like, whoa, Longo just did that for me. And so I end up getting optioned back to the minors like that Wednesday or Thursday of that next, should have been a Sunday. I got like 3 or 4 more days of time. Now, fast forward to a couple seasons after that, going into 2017, I was Super 2 eligible. I was the last, and it's hard for me to explain that, but the Super 2 deadline for 2017 was 2 years, 0.131, 2 years and 131 days of service. And they do like a median range and what to set that on. I made it. I was the last name in. If I didn't get those extra 3 or 4 days, I would have been on league minimum in 2017. The Rays end up, once I became Super 2 eligible, they're like, all right, we got to pay you now. We might as well, we want to do a long-term extension now. And so I was like, all right, and we got that worked out. But I guarantee that if I didn't get them days, the Rays would have kept me on league minimum, rightfully so. And if I would have missed it by 2 days, they would have been like, hey, this is exactly why we do what we do. Like, they have people who monitor all this stuff. It is what it is. But for Longo sticking his neck out for me, that got me Super 2 eligible. I mean, I just made it perfectly, and then got the long-term extension. That same year, I played really well. I broke my hip, but I played really well. But who knows what would have happened after that. And, I mean, the questions that would have came with that, oh, this guy broke his hip, he's going to be okay. No way they would have – I mean, who knows if they would have gave me an extension after that or not. But there would have been way more red flags and questions. So for Longo to do that for a rookie like me after he's already been in the league for 6-7 years, I mean, that was the coolest thing ever. And I sent him a super long text when I retired. I'm like, hey, man, I don't even know if you remember doing this, but let me just tell you why I love you and appreciate you, because you did something to me. I don't even know if you realize it. He's like, no, I do remember that, blah, 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 whatever. I don't think he realized the Super 2 stuff and all that came with it after. But he's the man and the best Ray of all time. But for me to like share that moment with him and for him to do that for me, man, I'll never forget that.
Was his departure, I know he was traded, I think 2017, did that kind of coincide with you feeling like, okay, like there's obviously like he was the man, he was like all-time #1 Ray. With him gone, did you feel like there was like a leadership void? You felt like you had an opportunity there to kind of maybe step in and say, hey, let me kind of take this on?
Yeah, I knew I was like expected to be the guy or the vocal guy or kind of the leader in a way. Chris Archer too, and I would never like claim, hey, this is my team or whatever. It's just like I know, like I was always the guy to be vocal, and I enjoyed that stuff, and I feel like I definitely earned the right to do that, and one of the more popular players on the team. So I get it, and it was one of those things where I was like, man, I've worked my whole life to be in this position. I want to thrive with this, and I want my teammates to know that they can count on me through thick and thin, whether I play good or bad. That was the thing with like Longo. It didn't matter. He just wanted to win every day, and he wanted to play. And so I learned so much from him. And then at that point, though, yeah, when he was gone, it was like, all right, now I'm going to step up even more. And now I'm going to try to do like these team dinners and stuff that Longo and other guys did before me. And once again, like for me, I was just like, I worked my whole life to put myself in this position, and I always said, this is what I'm going to do. So now here I am. And now like younger guys are looking at me a certain way, and you got to come through and you got to be that, even though I wasn't a vet at that point, it's just like, you got to have that presence where your teammates know, like, hey, when we take the fielder, this dude, like, you know what you're going to get with Kevin Kiermaier every day, win or lose. Like, he's going to be celebrating after if we win, no matter what. And just so many things that fall in line with that leadership role that I loved every bit of it as long as I had it.
Yeah. I got one more for you, and this is, I'm interested to see if you can narrow it down for me. You talked about some moments that like CC Sabathia, like moments that surprised you. Favorite moment as a Ray? I would imagine, in career wise, winning the World Series, going out on top, probably tough to beat, and really neat and doing it in Yankee Stadium nonetheless. I mean, come on.
Yep.
But for your Rays career, what if you could pick? I know it's hard, but like one moment that you would say, yeah, that's like the top. That was the top, the pinnacle.
I said earlier, Mike Brosseau, homer off Chapman.
Oh,
are you talking
okay.
about me?
Well, yeah. So no, that's actually fun. I mean, I think that's awesome that like literally it's a play that you weren't involved in. But I guess in my mind, this question would be a highlight of yours or a play of yours that you were involved in some capacity.
Man,
Was it
great question.
your
I'm
walk
thinking
off?
of like
The
all
walk off homer against the Red
I was
Sox,
just
which
say, I
was there for that as well.
I made a lot of awesome, like great plays defensively, and that was my bread and butter. But I always wanted to hit a walk-off homer, and I did that on a Friday night. I think it was a Friday or a Saturday night, maybe.
Saturday night. I had the Saturday night
April
ticket plan that
23rd.
year.
I know it was the day
Drew has this memorized to a T, Kevin.
Oh, because I was there with my wife, Kevin. You know, we went on a date night. Like, what a great date night for me and my wife to go.
Yeah, the walk off,
come on.
that was amazing. I always wanted to do that, and I'm sitting here as my career is like, as the years go by, I'm like, man, when am I? I've had so many times to hit in the 9th, 10th inning at home or extra innings. When am I gonna freaking do this? And when I got a 3-1 count, it was like one of those things. Like I knew I was going to do it before it happened, and even some of the guys for the Red Sox the next day, like Michael Walker, Rich Hill, guys who I played with, they're like, dude, that was the coolest thing ever. Like you had this place electric, and just the way I sprint around, like you don't think of this stuff, you just do whatever you do, and it's like pure bliss and enjoyment and just like blacking out. I mean, it was amazing. So yeah, that was probably
I was gonna lead you. I figured. I was like, I bet that's gonna be it. I'll tell you, to bring it back around to the beginning of the interview. Kevin running around those bases. I remember I like celebrated with my wife, and I looked, and he was already at home plate. So like Chandler Simpson, I have no doubt in my mind, if you put Chandler running the bases, Kevin had him beat that night, because I've never seen anyone round the bases as fast as he did.
When I had adrenaline, I couldn't. I mean, it's already hard for me to shut it off in general, but when I do something like that, it's like you can't sleep that night, or it's just your body never comes down from it. And those are the moments that I love the most, and what I miss the most nowadays, like the adrenaline and all that. You can't replace that.
Kevin, going into the 2026 season, we've got new ownership. There's possibility the Rays are moving to Tampa, back at the Trop. Have you interacted with the new ownership at all? Have you met them? Have you talked to them before? What's your impression of them like?
I met them. I randomly went to Ocean Prime one night with my buddy, and I saw 4 or 5 of them there, and it was just like a quick hello. It was right after they got everything done. This was like back in November or December, I'd say. So it was
that was like right after they took over. That's like fresh.
Yeah,
oh, wow.
It was very fresh. So, and at that time I didn't even know their names or anything like that. So I saw Eric. I'm like, oh, what's up, E? And he's like, I'm here with the new owners and all that. And I'm kind of like, oh, okay. I should probably know a little bit more about these guys, honest. I mean, at that time. I'm excited to see what they have moving forward, man. I mean, I've always been on the Tampa side, so I'm biased when I want the team to come over this way, and I think a lot of people are always like interested. How much better would they do over here compared to there? And
do you think the deal is going to get done with the stadium?
I do.
Okay.
I do.
I think Rays fans now, I know there's like a small percentage that are kind of like, oh, this is just the same dog and pony show we've had to deal with before. It's like, this is different, man.
They don't want their hearts broken again.
Yeah, this is like totally different.
Yeah, when like Ron DeSantis is saying like baseball is going to stay here, and like it seems like they've already had like all the renderings and everything built up, and
I think 22 acres was already given to the college today or something like that. So that's like another step in the right direction too. So it's like, look, when you have the governor and the commissioner both in the same press conference themselves saying, hey, it's going to stay here, or it needs to stay here. That's a step in the right direction. You know what I mean? From years past.
I mean, I mean, I'm not saying they wouldn't, but it'd be hard to take away baseball from so many, great fans around this area. And I'm just happy it's sticking around. I was kind of worried that it was, they were going to chase some money elsewhere or whatever, but hopefully it can thrive in Tampa if is what it's going to be. And I think there's going to be plenty of people very excited for that. And hopefully they do great this year and the years after that. But I think when that new place opens up, it's just going to be a whole new chapter to expect, Rays baseball. And like I said, other things might come. They might start being a little bit bigger market and doing things differently. But who knows? They've done great so far at this point, and be very interesting to see how things play out from this point on.
Well, we want to thank you again for coming on the show. I'm going to get you out here in this last question. Okay. Prediction for the 2026 Tampa Bay Rays. What do you think they're going to do?
Prediction. I would love to see them just get to the playoffs and find a way. It's hard. Boy, you put me on the spot with that. And me saying the stuff about the AL East earlier, it's going to be a lot of fun to watch because, like I said, I think it could be any teams in the whole division. Every team is trying out there, but man, you get a healthy Shane McClanahan back, Drew Rasmussen. I saw Nick Martinez last week. He looked great. I mean, once the Rays, they find a way. You got guys like Cedric Mullins, watching him move around the outfield and playing against him all these years, and Yandy. Like they have so many. They have all the players to do it. They got to play people on paper, but you got to go out there and execute at a high level. So for them, definitely a bounce back season from last year, but get to the playoffs and see what you can do from there. That is I can't sit here and say they're going to do this or that. I try not to do all the projections and stuff. And I know it's a question to me, but bounce back year with guys. Hopefully the team is always dealing with the health stuff. Hopefully everybody is smooth sailing as much as possible. And, vibes back at the Trop are high. I'll be there as much as I can, man. That's my home away from home. I can't wait to be back.
Chandler's going to clinch the playoff spot with a diving catch in left field because of he's like, man, channeling back the coaching from spring training. That's what's going to be. It's going to be, it's like, I can hear KK's voice in my head right now. And he just reacts and
there we go. Hey,
game winning catch. We're going to the playoffs. Everybody's happy. So.
Don't worry, we clip the show, so we can just save that clip for when it happens. Be like, I predicted this on this show.
Technology.
That's right.
I'm gonna buy a Powerball ticket after that.
There you go. Well, awesome. Well, thanks for joining us, Kevin. We do appreciate you coming on the Rays Rewind podcast, the sickest Tampa Bay Rays podcast on the Sick Podcast Network. Make sure to go to our YouTube page at the Sick Podcast Rays Rewind. Hit the subscribe and notification bell when new episodes drop. Go to our Instagram page at the Rays Rewind podcast. For myself, Drew, and Mr. Kevin Kiermaier. We'll see you guys later. Peace.
And that's a wrap. Hope you don't miss us too much until next time. Follow the Sick Podcast Rays Rewind with El Bushman and Drew on YouTube, Google Play, and Apple Podcasts.